Alright, welcome back. This is part 2 of the buttons and motion presets. If we go to control and we test the scene, we should see our bounce in, the fly in, and then the zoom. Alright, so I'm going to work backwards so it's more clear what we're doing. If you go to your actions layer, we want to make it so nothing goes. And this is why we inserted a keyframe here, because right now the zoom will play automatically. So if I go to Window and I go to Actions and I type in a stop, make sure that it is lowercase. The word should turn blue. If it's not blue, it is not a correct function. And it also says Actions 59, telling me I'm on that keyframe 59. And over here, as soon as I typed out this stop, Actions showed up. So now, if I go to Control and Test Scene, bounce in plays, fly in plays, but zoom does not. And every time you add new code, you want to test it. So now I'm going to go to 29 because I want to make sure that the fly in movie does not start automatically. So I'm going to open up the actions again and see it says Actions 29. It's not here yet, but as soon as I type in stop, semicolon, no spaces, it now says Actions, frame 29. So I've added new code, so you always want to test it because sometimes the code might change things. Okay, so now fly in is not going. So now I have to do this one last time. So I'm going to go to the Actions, make sure I'm on frame 1. So here we are, Actions 1, stop, opening parenthesis, opening, closing, semicolon. Now I'm going to control and test the scene again, and nothing happens, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to minimize my actions for right now, just kind of move it to the side. So now we need to make it so that these buttons actually do something. So I have to unlock the buttons layer so I can select it, and you want to make sure that this red playhead is at frame 1. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the bounce. I'm going to use my selection arrow. It has that little blue box around it. And I'm going to go to Window and choose Code Snippets. The Action Script folder, Timeline Navigation, and we want it to click to go to frame and play. So I double click on that, and you notice it's on Actions frame 1. But it recognizes the bounce button. Remember how we named the instance? There's the instance name. So the instructions are right here, but what it's saying is this code is saying this bounce button is listening for someone to click, and when it clicks, you want it to go to and play frame, and it defaults to 5. But if we look at our timeline, when does the bounce animation start? Bounce starts at frame 1, so I'm going to switch this to 1. And then you want to make sure and go and test your scene to make sure there are no problems. So nothing starts until I click bounce, which is exactly what we want. So now I'm going to do it again. So minimize that for now. I'm going to click on the fly in button. Open up my code snippets. Click to go to frame and play. I'm still on frame 1. And there's my code from up above. Now this time I want to click and go to and play frame. And then you look down in your timeline, when does the fly in animation start? Well, it starts at 30. So I'm going to replace that with 30. And then I want to make sure and go and test the scene. So bounce still works. Fly in still works. And I'll check again, bounce. I have to click it twice. Fly in. Fly in. Okay. One more time. So minimize that to get out of the way. Click on the zoom button. Open up my code snippets. Got that timeline navigation. Click to go to frame and play. And it's got the zoom button selected. And when does the zoom animation start? It starts at 60. So I'm going to go ahead and name that 60. Type that in, 60 I should say, and let's test the scene. Zoom, fly in. Oh, something went wrong there. I'll have to see what that was. Bounce. Oh, you know what that was. The problem is, after zoom, if you look at our timeline, because of our animations going extra, there's extra. We want everything to stop at 90. So if I just come out here and click and drag across, right click, remove frames. There we go. Okay, so now everything stops at 90, which means that if I go and I do a test scene, zoom, it stays there. It doesn't keep playing into blank frames. Fly in, bounce. And it's okay if bounce takes 2 clicks, that's fine. Just make sure that if you click around, it plays each one. So there's the fly in, there's the zoom, there's the bounce. As I click around, all 3 of them play. You want to just make sure, if you look at your actions, frame 1, frame 29, frame 59. You shouldn't have any others. Frame 59 just has the stop. Frame 29 only has a stop. Frame 1, that has all of your buttons, and it should only have 3. So I've got my stop, I have the bounce button function, which is these 3 lines, and I scroll down and I have my fly button and those 3 lines, and then I have my zoom button and those 3 lines. If you have any other code, your movie's probably not working correctly and you need to just highlight and delete anything that's extra. Okay? Alright, we're done. So what you need to do now is make sure that you file save as. Once you've done that, you do File and Publish. And it will be exported as a SWF movie, and that is what you will turn in. So good job. You've just finished.